all, I'm glad you're here. Today I am going to talk about some of my favorite brands at the drugstore, but not just drugstore makeup, but those ultra affordable brands. You know, the ones where like almost nothing is over $10 and sometimes it's not over $5. Yeah, those are the brands that I really love because I love trying new makeup, but I don't want to spend a lot of money for it, but I do want it to be good. So today I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite budget drugstore brands. I recently saw Mandy Lee do this video and I agreed with some of her choices, but not all of them. I have a couple of my own that she didn't mention. So I'm going to rank these from number 5 down to number 1, tell you some of my favorite products within those brands, and share some of the things I don't like in those brands. And I am wearing the products that I'm going to talk about on my face today, so I'll put in a little of the application as I go too. If you love makeup but you want to save some money, then stick around. Number 5 on my list is Believe Beauty. This is a brand that's available exclusively at Dollar General. Used to be everything was $5 or under, but inflation has taken its toll and things are now $5.50 and under. My number 1 favorite in this brand is the Skin Finish Foundation, and I do have to use 2 colors to mix because I accidentally bought one that was too light for me, and so I bought a deeper one so that I could mix them and get them used up. So the colors I'm using in this application are Porcelain and Soft Beige, but I just really love the finish that this gives my skin. It isn't completely matte. I do have a little bit of radiance to my skin, but it doesn't make me look greasy, and it lasts really well. If I need a 12 to 14, 15 hour foundation day, this is one I'm going to reach for. I also really love the Believe Beauty Concealer. By the way, the application clips are going to be all out of order because I'm talking about each one by brand and I mixed up what I used. So I did not use this concealer today. I do really like it. However, it has a problem with the doe foot falling off into the container. So what I have done with this one is I took the stopper out so that I get a lot on the wand and I can just take a little of the concealer on my finger and dab it on. And I kind of prefer to do that lately because generally it means that I'm getting less concealer if I do that than if I actually put it on with the doe foot. I also really love the Believe Beauty lip liners. This is my favorite lip liner. I use it all the time and it's on my lips today. This is Barely There. It's super creamy. It lasts really long on my lips. And this color in particular goes with just about any nude lipstick I have. I think this is the 3rd one I purchased. I also really like the Believe Beauty liquid lip. If you are a liquid lipstick wearer still, this is a good formula. I don't wear liquid lipsticks a lot anymore, but if I need it to stay on, that's the one I'm going to reach for. Number 4 on my list is LA Colors. LA Colors is available at some Walmarts. The Walmart in my town doesn't have it, but if I go to a bigger one, I can find it there. Also at Dollar General and sometimes at Dollar Trees. So, and I think some places Dollar General is called Family Dollar or they're combined or something like that, but you can usually find it there too. And I have a lot of LA Color products that I like. In fact, I did a full face of LA Colors. I will link that up there if you want to go and see it when you're done with this one. I'll also link it down in the description box so it's easy to find. One of the things I really like is the LA Colors gel nail polish. Now they have another one that is the Color Craze, and I'm not as fond of this one. This one doesn't stay on as well, but the gel one really does stay on well. I did my nails with this today, and I used 2 coats plus a coat of the LA Colors Quick Dry. And generally when I do a manicure of regular nail polish, it doesn't last 12 hours before it's chipping on me. So understand where I'm coming from there. This is not going to give you 2 weeks like a gel manicure will, but it's also a little bit gentler on your nails. I can get a good 2 to 3 days before it starts chipping and 4 or 5 before I have to take it off and redo it. That's really not bad for a regular manicure and a $3.50 nail polish. I have a couple of LA Colors eyeshadow palettes that I like. This 9-pan series, I have the Lemon Drop. I think they also have one that's berry and maybe a nude, but this gives very much Urban Decay Naked Honey vibes, and it gives good pigment and the shimmers are really nice as well. But the one I used today was this Alluring Beauty palette in Charming, and this was $5. I didn't really feel like going all in on the blues, so I first used my Wet n Wild Brulee to set my eyes, and then I went into the lighter color brown here as a transition. I went into this, and it is a shimmer, but I still used it in my crease and outer V. And then I used this lighter shimmer on most of my lid and then just a little touch of this golden shimmer on the very center of the lid. Then I took a little of this blue matte shade here and put it on the lower waterline to give just a little bit of color without going all in. And it really does match this nail polish perfectly. So if you wanted to use this for a teal eye look with these nails, it would be a really nice look. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's great for a beginner because it's not super pigmented. And don't take that as a criticism, because I actually prefer a palette that doesn't just dump a bunch of pigment on your eye all at once and then you have to figure out what to do with it. I would much prefer to build up, as long as when I blend it doesn't blend away. And that's what I find that these shadows do. They will build and you can blend them, but they're a little more forgiving if you're kind of new to this. I also enjoy the LA Colors matte foundation. I don't think that one made my foundation declutter cut because I have so many other matte foundations and I don't really wear a matte foundation all that often. But it is a good one if you have oily skin and you really need a matte foundation and you want something that's inexpensive. It's $6 and I did really enjoy that. Moving into the number 3 spot is e.l.f. And that might surprise you because I really like e.l.f. I like a lot from e.l.f. However, e.l.f.'s prices have been creeping up lately, if you've noticed, and there aren't as many products that I would consider in this super affordable but good category. They're kind of edging into the more mid-range drugstore. You know, you've got high-end and then you've got drugstore. But within that drugstore category, I think you've got some that are more on the high end. If you think about Pixie, maybe L'Oreal, things like that. Then in that mid-range, I would put perhaps Maybelline, and some of e.l.f.'s products are getting into here. And then we've got these budget brands that we're talking about where things are like $10 and under. One of my new favorite products from e.l.f. that is not in this under $10 category, but for its category is still really well priced, is the e.l.f. Whoa Glow sunscreen. It's $14, but most sunscreens are going to be above $10. And so I included this in this budget video, even though it's not really, you know, under $10, but it is still a really good price. I really like the finish this gives on my skin. Most glowy products I can't use because I end up just looking like a disco ball grease pit by the end of the day. But this does not do that. You'll notice as I'm putting it on that it is very glowy, and when I first put it on, I do look a little bit like the Tin Man. But once it has taken the 15 or 20 minutes to soak into my skin, that glow does recede a bit. And it does show through my foundation, but not in a beaming, see it from space kind of way. But when I wear this, I don't use too many other glowy products because it would be too much. And I do still set down the center of my face, which you'll see a little bit later. One of my very favorite foundations is from e.l.f., and it's not the one that you might think it is. A lot of people really love the Camo CC cream. That just doesn't really work for my skin. And I didn't like the e.l.f. Camo powder foundation. It was really heavy and cakey, didn't stay on my skin. It was breaking up after like 2 hours. And so as a last ditch effort to find an e.l.f. foundation that I liked, I tried the e.l.f. Flawless Satin foundation. Oh my goodness, this is $6 and it is wonderful. It gives a beautiful finish. It lasts really well on my skin. I have a good shade match with, is Alabaster the one that works? I had two and I had to buy a different one. Yeah, I have Bisque, which is a pretty good summer shade if I've been out in the sun and get a little bit of sun. I don't spend much time outside, so I don't usually get very much sun, but Alabaster is a better shade match for me. And I didn't use it today because I only have one face and I wanted to use that Believe Beauty foundation, but I really do like this. By the way, also have a full face of e.l.f. I'll put it there, and I think I used that foundation in that video. What I did use today, which is one of my very favorite concealers, is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. And when I put this on, this has this massive doe foot. And so if you use this to put it on, you're probably going to end up getting too much foundation. So what I like to do is put a little on the back of my hand and then dip my finger in it and apply it that way. I then just use the warmth of my finger to tap it in and blend. And then when I'm satisfied with that, I'll take a dry beauty sponge to remove any of the excess product. The reason I use a dry sponge instead of a wet one is I feel like it removes just the right amount, whereas a wet one will sometimes take away too much. I'm also using this as an eye primer today because I did not have a primer in one of these budget beauty brands that I like. I do have a budget eye primer that I enjoy, but it's not from one of these brands. I also love the putty blush, the putty bronzer, the primer infused blushes. All of those are around $7, and so that's a pretty good price. But again, I only have one face, and so I used products from a different brand for those. I did use e.l.f. products for my brows. Today I used the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and I do this different ways. Sometimes I put the pencil on first and then the brow gel, but today I decided I'd put the brow gel on first, and I put this on by first brushing it down through my brows to coat the tops of the hairs, and then I brushed it up and put the hairs in place where they belong. And then I went in with the Instant Lift Brow Pencil in taupe, and then put this through where I don't have as many brows up front, a couple of little bare patches in the center and on the tail, and then I use the spoolie to brush it through and blend. And I really think this color is great with the current hair color that I have. I used the e.l.f. Lash and Roll Mascara for the first coat on my lashes. I really like this mascara because I don't have to curl my lashes. It will actually do what it says and curl them and help hold the curl just using the mascara itself. And so I used this for the first coat. I did use a different mascara for the second coat. This one is actually getting to be kind of low. I've used this a lot since I got it. It stays on my vanity, and if I'm not filming and specifically talking about a different mascara, this is probably the one I'm using. So it's actually starting to dry up a little bit, which is one of the reasons why I used a second mascara, but I also just wanted to show another product. And then we have probably my favorite e.l.f. product of all time, the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. And this one is almost gone, but have no fear, I have one here in backup. Oh, just love that mist. I think this has got to be one of the best misters of all setting sprays on the market right now. And I'll just take that sponge that I used when I was getting ready and press it in to my face. Just helps meld everything together and keep it in place. There are some other e.l.f. products that I do like. I like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, but it's $14, so it doesn't belong in this category. And as I said before, there are some e.l.f. products I don't like. The Camo CC Cream, the powder foundation, and that's okay. You don't have to like every product in a brand in order to still really like the brand. I really like their skincare too. If you want me to go over what I do for my skincare, let me know down in the comments below. I don't consider myself to be a skincare expert by any means, but if you're curious what I use, I'm happy to share that. All right, up in the number 2 spot is Wet n Wild. I also have a full face of Wet n Wild video. That'll be up there if you want to take a look at that. And like I said, those will also be listed down below. So you can finish watching this and then go down to the description box and pick another one to watch. And if you do that, it's super helpful to me because one of the things YouTube looks at is, do your videos keep people on the platform and keep them watching? And so if you have more time and you can click on another one of my videos, that is really, really helpful. So one of the things I was supposed to use today, but I forgot, was the Impossible Primer. And this has a funny story because the first time I used this primer, I absolutely hated it. It was very dry. I'd put it on my hands, and when I went to press it together to put it on my face, it would crumble apart, fall in my lap. I couldn't get it from my hands to my face. And when I got it to my face, it wouldn't blend in. And I could not figure out why people liked it. I thought they were nuts. But I thought, well, okay, maybe they're not crazy, and maybe I just got a bad one. And so I bought another one. And then I was like, oh, now I get it. Because it is actually good. There's no silicone in it, so if you don't like silicones, that's nice. And it does kind of have this gel texture, but when you start blending it together, it just kind of melts, and then it feels velvety like a silicone, but like I said, there's no silicone in it. And it does do a really nice job of blurring. I don't think you can probably tell on my hand, but anyway, it feels smooth and velvety and blurs, and it does help my makeup stay on. So I was supposed to use it, but I forgot. So I didn't. I'll just tell you about it. Probably right now, my number 1 favorite Wet n Wild product is this tinted hydrator. I absolutely love it, especially for summertime when I want something that's lighter and quick and easy, and just put this on with my fingers and take a sponge and dab it a little bit, and it's done. It looks great. For being such a light finish, it stays on amazingly well. I mean, like 8, 9, 10 hour well. Not just like, oh, I can get 5 or 6 out of it. It's really good. Like I said, I think it's probably my favorite Wet n Wild product. I did use 2 bronzers today. I used a cream, you'll see that in a minute, but I also then went over it with a powder. And that's a good tip if you need your makeup to last a long time, to use a cream and then set it with a powder of the same category. So like cream bronzer, put on a powder over it, cream blush, put a powder over it. Mostly I just wanted to show you more products, but this Sunset Strip Tease Color Icon Bronzer is just probably my favorite bronzer right now. It's great on my light skin. It isn't too warm. It has just a little bit of a glow, but no shimmer. And so really like that. Vying for top spot, but definitely probably the best value that I have on the table right now is the Kohl eyeliner. Now this one is the black one because even though I just used my Simma Brown now, I can't find it. Maybe it fell off the table, I don't know. But you'll see me here, I'm using it to tightline and also to kind of smudge it into the lash line. And it does a great job making the base of your lashes look thicker by filling in the skin there. But I seriously have no idea what I did with it. I also love their 5-pan eyeshadows. I have Walking on Eggshells and Petalette. And if you want something just quick and easy, or maybe you're just a neutral girl and you wear the same neutral look all the time, these for like $3.28 will do everything you need to do. I almost like these better than the allll 4-pans because having that extra shade just really gives you so much more versatilities. You've got a light one for the brow bone, you've got a crease color, you've got a light shimmer, a darker shimmer, and something that you can use for eyeliner or to deepen up the outer corner if you want to go deeper for an evening look, or you just like a deeper, more dramatic daytime look. So these are great. Also really love the Photo Focus loose setting powder. Super finely milled, does a great job blurring your pores, setting your makeup down, holding it in place, and there's a ton in here. I've actually used one of these up. This is my second one. Takes a long time, especially with the number of powders that I have, to use up a powder. So the fact that I used it and I'm on my second one does say something about how much I like this powder. Last 2 from Wet n Wild, my Blossom Glow highlighter. This has been around forever. I've had this one forever. It still works and I will keep using it until it no longer does, but I actually have pan in there. It's hard to hit pan on a highlighter because you don't use very much of them. And then a more recent purchase is the Peach Bums Blush Stick. Really like this, especially for summer. It just gives a beautiful peachy flush with a little bit of glow on your skin, and really like that. Honestly, there's not a lot from Wet n Wild that I've tried that I don't like. I'm not as fond when they do the special collections because I don't think the formulas are the same on those. And so I do tend to steer clear of like the Sesame Street and the, those other collections that they do. Plus it seems more geared to a younger audience than me anyways. So moving on to my number 1 budget beauty brand at the drugstore, and that is Essence. And this is the one that I most recently did a full face video of, linked there and down below. I have so many favorites from Essence, and I found more that are quickly becoming favorites in that video. Probably my number 1 Essence item is the 16-hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation, especially now that it's summer. This is my second one, by the way. I bought this last August and used it up by February. It's a great powder foundation, but it's also a great setting powder. And so in the summertime, I like to use it as a powder foundation because it helps when I'm going to be hot and sweaty, but I also like it as a setting powder for the same reason. I also like it because I can use it under my eyes. It's not brightening because it is the shade that I need for a powder foundation, but it does a really good job of just setting everything down. I get some blurring, but it doesn't look matte and flat. I mean, I still have some luminance to my skin, and it does last. I wore this when we were in Florida. It was hot, it was humid, and it looked really good even at the end of the day. With that said, I do have mature skin, and it is oily in the T-zone, combo everywhere else, kind of just normal. So if you have super dry skin and you don't like powder anyway, I'm not sure if you would like this, but if you have normal combo oily skin, I think it would be very good for you. What I used today was the Baby Got Bronze, and this is in the shade Cinnamon Spice, And you'll see that I put this on and then blend it in with a Real Techniques brush, and it just gives a really nice bronze. It's a great color for me. It's not too warm, it's not muddy or too gray. And so I think it does a good job as a contour bronze hybrid, because I don't usually contour and bronze, and it does last really well. And then, as you saw, I put the Wet n Wild over it. I think I forgot to talk about my blush when I was talking about LA Colors. The LA Colors Blush Up Cheek and Lip Duo. These are now available on the LA Colors website. I think when I first got this, I just must have lucked into it because I couldn't find it online, but now it is. And this color is marvelous. It's just a really pretty mauve. I like to put this on the back of my hand and then use a Coastal Scents stipple brush. It doesn't exist anymore. You can use any stippling brush to put it on my cheeks and then blend it with my makeup sponge. And then over the top of that, I went in with my new Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. And this is just so pretty. I mean, it has a tiny little bit of shimmer and just such pretty pigment. So I put that over the top, and I think it gave it a really nice finish. There's a lot from Essence that I like. We could be here all day if I went into all the products, but I did use the Pure Nude highlighter as well. This has been iconic YouTube forever. There's a real, I don't know, can you see my divot in there? I'm always excited when I see progress on a highlighter because, like I said, you use so little of it. It takes a really long time to actually use it up. So to see progress on it is very exciting. And then while we're still on cheek products, I also really love the Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. It's in a pan about this big, would be a great body bronzer as well. I don't know where mine is. I don't know if maybe I dropped it and broke it and shut it out of my memory because it was so traumatic for me, or if I took it to the theater to use it and left it there and somebody else picked it up. I don't know, but it's not here. And I'm kind of upset because I was working on trying to hit some pan on that thing, but I think I may go ahead and repurchase it one of these days when I have a chance if I'm in an Ulta. I don't intend to go out and search for it, but so I'm not going to place an order just to get that or go to an Ulta just to get that. But if I'm making an order, I might add it, or if I'm in an Ulta, I might pick it up. Essence also has some great eyeshadow. They have the 6 pans. I have the rose. My rose will go on. Nothing compares to Nude and Dancing Green, but there are also other color stories. And one thing I love about super affordable eyeshadow palettes like this is if you're traveling and you take them along and something happens to them, it's not heartbreaking because they're only like $3.99. So you just go and you buy a new one. I also really like their 8-hour lip liners. I have about 4 or 5 of those. Did not use that today because I used the Believe Beauty, but I did use the lipstick in their nude line, and that was this one in Charming. This has become one of my favorite ones. It's kind of a pinkish color. It's just kind of a nude pink and a your lips but better sort of thing, and it went really well with that Believe Beauty lip liner, I think. These are a semi-matte, so they aren't drying, but they do have a little bit more staying power than a traditional cream bullet. Remember when I was talking about e.l.f. that I used 2 mascaras. The other one I used was the Lash Princess False Lash Effect. I think I bought this 4, maybe 5 times. I know some people don't have luck with this. It smudges on them or it flakes on them. It never smudges or flakes on me. I don't end up with it up on my brow bone. It never flakes under my eye or smudges under my eye. So if it does for you, I'm sorry that I go on and on about it, but I really love it. And I thought putting it over the lash and roll today really gave me some great length, and very happy with how my lashes look. And then looking at my table, I realized one thing that I forgot when I was talking about e.l.f., and that's one of my favorite products, the Lip Plumping Gloss in Champagne Glam. This is my second purchase of this, and I use it a lot. It's really good. You'd think it would only be good over like browns or nudes, but it's actually good over a lot of different lipsticks. When I wear a liquid lip or a mattifying lipstick, I will let it dry down, and then I almost always put a gloss over it. And I realize that that will affect the wear time a little bit, but it also makes it so much more comfortable for me. So this gets used a lot. So how about you? Do you like these ultra affordable budget brands at the drugstore? Let me know down in the comments. What brand is your #1 favorite ultra budget brand? And maybe your top 3 products in there, because maybe I'll find something new to try that I don't know about. Before you run to another video, please take a second and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not, turn your notifications on, do all the things. And then also, if you have a little extra time, click on the playlist here to see those full-face videos. You can get them all in one shot, or find them down in the description box below and watch another video. If you don't have time to stick around, then I will see you in the next one. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.